Hello, this is Wiley from Learn to Barbecue. In this video, we will be cooking and searing tri-tip roasts on the Recteq Wyldside Grill. The Wyldside Grill is an Argentinian, or some would say a Santa Maria style barbecue. The cooking fuel will be lump charcoal and hickory wood chunks. We need a really hot fire, and it all starts with the BBQ Dragon chimney starter. First, we fill the starter all the way up with lump charcoal. Then, using a tumbleweed starter, I light and then push the starter to the middle of the chimney using the access port on the side of the BBQ Dragon chimney. To help with the lighting, the Wyldside has vent holes that are powered by a fan all around the base of the fire pit. Here I show the port and how I am pointing it towards the vents at the base. Now we turn on the fan to high and let the chimney and charcoal come up to temperature. As you can see, the charcoal is well on its way. So while the charcoal is lighting, we move into the kitchen to prepare our tri-tips. Here are the ingredients we'll be using: duck fat, Montreal steak seasoning, and two 2.5-pound tri-tip roasts. A little trivia. The tri-tip was created by Bob Schultz in Santa Maria, California in the 1950s. Before Mr. Schultz, this cut of meat was used to make hamburgers. As you can see, the roast has 3 points like a triangle, hence the name tri-tip. Before cooking, we need to remove external fat and the silver skin. Because this is not a big piece of meat, I take small cuts until I can see the outside is just mainly meat. The best way to think about this is that you're trying to make it look like a large steak and not a roast. Here is the second roast. It took me about 20 minutes total, or about 10 minutes per piece of meat, to get this all done. After trimming, you could see that the outside of the roast should really sear well. Now it's time to season the meat. I put the meat into a foil pan so cleanup is really easy. Now with the Montreal steak seasoning, I liberally put the seasoning all over. Montreal steak seasoning is your standard SPG, salt, pepper, and garlic, with a few extras added. With the meat totally covered in rub, it is now off to the grill. As you can see, the charcoal is now ready to go. Now we lay the coals in the middle of the fire pit. Now add the hickory wood chunks. As the wood chunks are added, you can see the wood starts to smoke and the fire becomes very hot. Also, the vents and the fan are adding even more oxygen to the fire. We then add another layer of lump charcoal. The wood is already producing flame, and now we want to move the wood and coals so we have a focused cooking area. Using the rake, we try to equally distribute the wood among the coals. With coals and wood ready, we now lower the grate into the grill. First, welcome to my backyard. Not a bad view if I say so myself. Here you can see my favorite thermometer, Signals by ThermoWorks. Here is the fire with both flame and smoke, perfect for cooking these tri-tips. In the grate up position, the tri-tips are placed on the grate. The temperature probes from the signal thermometer are now inserted into the two tri-tips. The grate is then lowered to the point that the flames just kiss the meat, but they do not char the meat. The tri-tips are then turned every 2 to 3 minutes. The tri-tips will be ready to sear when they reach 120 degrees Fahrenheit internal. Here you can see one tri-tip is just about ready to pull. Here you can see the tri-tips look more like a cooked steak than a roast. With one tri-tip done, we then move it off to the side so it can stay warm. Then as the second tri-tip hits 120 degrees Fahrenheit, we move it also off to the side. I highly recommend getting some really good barbecue gloves, like the BBQ Dragon Extreme Heat Resistant barbecue gloves I'm using here. By far the best barbecue gloves I've ever used. Now it's time to get a large 15-inch cast iron skillet. This one is made by Lodge. Now the duck fat. Why duck fat? It does not burn at high temperature, so it stays healthy for you. It also has a neutral taste, so it does not change the taste of the meat or whatever else you're using it with. Pour duck fat into skillet and let the oil come up to temperature. This is when you are real happy you have these extreme temperature gloves. Coat the bottom of the skillet and then lower the grate so it is very close to the coals. Remove meat temperature probes and then start monitoring the skillet temperature using an infrared thermometer. Ideal temperature is 360 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can see, we are 11 degrees short. This time we are right on, and it's time to sear. Now do not do this unless you have extreme temperature gloves on. As you can see, that oil is bubbling and extremely hot, but I can tell you these gloves worked perfectly. As I seared these tri-tips, I noticed how the meat actually became more pliable and that the color became even in color like a well-cooked steak. total searing time was around 2 minutes. The nice thing about the gloves is you could actually feel when the meat was done. They looked perfect, and it was time to pull. So here's the completely cooked tri-tip. Always cut against the grain. And in a tri-tip, that means when you get to the middle of the roast, you're going to change direction. Tri-tip cut really easy, and it tasted fantastic. Just to be sure, I had to have one more bite. One big duck fat thumbs up. Bon appetit! If you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Also, we really appreciate you watching.